This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 1 of our series, Redefine Your Career, Transform Your Professional Identity. In this episode, titled The Career Identity Crisis, Who Are You at Work?, we'll explore how to recognize the signs of a career identity crisis in your own life. If you've ever felt disconnected from your work or unsure of your professional path, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. About a third of workers say their company's mission doesn't make their job feel important, yet many still work late, volunteer for projects, and chase promotions. How do you stay so busy, so committed, and still feel that your work self doesn't quite feel like you? Maybe you've started to notice small glitches. You're good at what you do, people trust you with tough assignments, but a quiet question keeps surfacing during commutes, in meetings, after performance reviews. Is this still me? That question often signals a career identity crisis. Not dramatic or flashy, more like a hairline crack in a favorite mug that slowly widens with use. You might feel it when your strengths aren't the ones being rewarded, when the projects you're praised for are the ones you secretly hope you won't get again, or when a promotion path feels more like a conveyor belt than a choice. The dissonance can show up as sudden irritation in meetings, Sunday dread, or an odd numbness after good news. This series will help you decode those signals, name what's changing, and start to redraw who you are at work, on purpose. Maybe what's really shifting isn't just how you feel about work, but the story your work tells about you. Titles, team reputations, even the kinds of problems people bring you start to act like labels on a pantry shelf. The fixer, the diplomat, the subject matter expert. Over time, those labels shape which opportunities land in your inbox and which never reach you at all. When that outer label stops matching your inner sense of direction, the gap can stretch wide enough that you start to question promotions, praise, or even your own ambition. That gap is where this series will focus. Some people feel that gap suddenly, after a layoff, a reorg, a new boss. But for many, it creeps in quietly as three forces collide: how work is changing, how you are changing, and how your environment responds, or doesn't, to either. Work itself is shifting faster than many identities can keep up with. Entire roles appear and disappear within a few planning cycles. Skills you once treated like bedrock, your analytical chops, a specialized tool, a deep familiarity with a customer segment, can start to feel like nice to have instead of must have almost overnight. When the market stops valuing what you've built your reputation on, it's not just a performance issue, it's an existential one. You may catch yourself thinking, if this isn't what's needed anymore, who am I here? At the same time, your own internal priorities evolve. Early in your career, you might have chased visibility and steep learning curves. Later, you may care more about autonomy, impact on a specific problem, or how your work fits around caregiving, health, or creative pursuits. None of these shifts are failures, but they do mean that the version of professional you that once felt obvious now needs revision. Then there's the environment. Some organizations are elastic. They stretch to accommodate your new interests or life stage. Others are more like a rigid template. If you don't want the next predefined step, colleagues look puzzled, managers get nervous, and performance systems subtly punish you for coloring outside the lines. This is where many people misinterpret identity tension as laziness, ingratitude, or not being a team player, when in reality they're bumping against structural limits. Notice what isn't the solution here: immediately quitting or frantically rebranding yourself on LinkedIn. Those moves can be part of the story, but they're often premature. Before changing your job, you need language for what's actually shifting: your values, your sources of pride, your appetite for risk, your relationship to expertise and status. In the next parts of this series, we'll translate that vague sense of "this doesn't fit" into clearer questions you can actually work with, so any changes you make aren't just reactions, but deliberate choices. You might notice it first in small, concrete moments. A high performer in sales starts dreading client calls, but lights up when mentoring new hires. Her calendar still says account executive, but her energy says coach. A senior engineer, once thrilled by complex systems, now finds more satisfaction in writing clear documentation and untangling miscommunications between teams. On paper, nothing changed, yet their internal scoreboard quietly reordered what a good day means. Sometimes the crisis surfaces when success arrives in the wrong currency. You win an award for a project that felt hollow, or your promotion hinges on doing more of the work you'd secretly hoped to outgrow. The applause lands, but it doesn't stick. Think of it like a sudden shift in weather patterns. The climate of your working life has warmed or cooled, but your wardrobe, your role, routines, and reputation still assumes last season. You can keep layering on, feeling strangely uncomfortable, or treat that discomfort as data that something in the forecast has changed, and you're allowed to change with it. Your future career story may feel less like climbing a single ladder and more like running a series of pop-up restaurants, testing menus, skills, closing what no longer works, reopening with a sharper concept. AI will accelerate this. Instead of one fixed title, you'll assemble short-term identities around problems you can solve. The real asset becomes how quickly you can notice, name, and narrate who you are now and retire old roles before they quietly drain you. Your challenge this week? Each day, note one task that energized you and one that quietly drained you, even if you did it well. By week's end, look for patterns in how you like to create value: teaching, building, fixing, connecting, analyzing. Don't jump to solutions, just name the patterns. This is your first draft of who I'm becoming at work, based on real data from your current role, not old expectations or job titles. Treat this week's notes like puzzle pieces, not a verdict. Over time, you may notice themes hiding in plain sight, like the friend who always ends up organizing group trips or troubleshooting everyone's gadgets. Those quiet, recurring roles often point more accurately to your next chapter than any title on your business card ever will. Here's your challenge this week. Block 25 minutes today to create a Who I Am at Work snapshot with 3 columns titled What Energizes Me, What Drains Me, and What I'm Pretending to Care About. Then pick one draining or pretend to care task from your current job and experiment with changing how you approach it. Delegate part of it, time box it to 30 minutes, or renegotiate its scope with a colleague or manager. Before Friday, have a 10-minute conversation with a trusted coworker and ask them one specific question. When do you see me at my best at work? And add their answer to your snapshot. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!